My project will be on the Viking exploration to America and how they weren't even credited with the discovery of America, even though they sailed there many centuries before Christopher Columbus did. It is now common knowledge that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, but this is not actually true. A Viking named Bjarni sailing to Greenland became the first European to see America. His ship was blown off course while on the way to Greenland in 985 AD. This was a whole 500 years before Christopher Columbus even started his voyage to America. The Vikings also had more expeditions to America. Leif Erikson, a very well-known Viking, set out to find the land that Bjarni found. Leif found an icy barren land he called Helluland and then traveled south and found Vinland, which is a part of North America. Leif's brother Thorfinn, who was an Icelandic trader, led another expedition to Vinland and stayed there for 3 years and built sites that were not actually discovered until recently. The sites that the Viking used were not found until 1960. A man named Helge Ingstad, who was a Norwegian explorer, was led by a local man to a Viking site at the tip of Newfoundland Island. There they discovered the remains of a Viking encampment that was dated back all the way to the year 1000. This is when it was proved that the Vikings were there way before Columbus. Here is a picture of the Viking settlements that they used. There were wooden structures and they were triangular, and you can really tell that they weren't really planned to last that long. So now the question is, why aren't the Vikings credited with the discovery of America? I think it is because they did not settle there for long and colonize. If you look at it, Columbus gained a lot more from the discovery of America than the Vikings did. It is, however, truly amazing that the Vikings found America so early, and it's not even taught in schools and not recognized by many people. The Vikings are very unappreciated and should be talked about a lot more, in my opinion. The Vikings actually imported many materials from America. They even relied upon these to build many other things. These materials included iron and wood. Here is a short video that will be helping me explain the Viking exploration to America.
Historians have debated over who discovered America first. Many people still claim Columbus was the first, and I'm sure you have that one friend who will smugly tell you it was the Vikings. But this video is not about who discovered America first, but about the Viking exploration in the Americas. The best known Viking explorer is Leif Erikson, who was born in the 960s or 70s. His father, Eric the Red, had been banished from Norway and started up a settlement in Greenland. This is where Leif is thought to have grown up. In the year 1000, Leif sailed back to Norway, where he served under the Norwegian king Olaf. This is where our story diverges, however. Some people say Leif discovered America because Olaf had asked him to convert Greenland to Christianity, and his ship sailed off course. Others say that he heard rumors of a mysterious land beyond Greenland that was supposedly discovered years earlier. Enter, I'm not even going to say that, here it is, a seaman who is also credited for discovering America. His story goes that he was going to Iceland to visit his parents, like the good son that he was, only to discover that his father had left with Eric the Red, Leif Erikson's father, to start the Greenland settlement. He attempted to follow in his own ship, but, take a guess, was blown off course, supposedly landing in America. Then, years later, he met a young Leif Erikson and told him all about it. According to this version of the story, Leif actually bought Bjarni's ship from him and retraced his steps. While both versions are widely believed, Leif Erikson is the only one with an accurate.
It is believed that the Vikings that landed at Vinland were attacked by indigenous people of North America. The Norse buildings were set on fire, but it is not actually clear who did it. It could have been the last voyagers before they left to go back to Greenland, or it could have also been local people protecting their land. The indigenous people were felt in other ways too. There was a Viking buried in Greenland who had an arrowhead in his head. He probably lived on his trip back to Greenland, but died to his injuries. In some stories written by the Vikings, it is said there were deadly fights with the indigenous people. The Vikings called them savages, and they were forced to flee from their settlements. There was also fur from American bisons that were found in graves in Greenland, which proves trade over long distance with the Vikings and the Americans. Another question that arises is, why did the Vikings leave North America? There are several possible explanations for this. Maybe there were too few of them to sustain the settlement, or they may have been forced out by the indigenous people. However, most historians agree that it was probably a combination of poor relationship with the natives and cooling climate issues that made them leave the short-lived settlements. In conclusion, the Vikings were miscredited with the discovery of America, and it is truly impressive how early they found it and got no credit at all.